Let's see who joins me today to talk about some watches. Today, John, what's happening? Most of you will probably know what watch I'm going to be talking about today because it was a mess up 2 weeks ago. And that is my middle school watch, aka the Timex Ironman. I think James Stacy or Cole Pennington for Hodinkee did a write-up on this. I want to say it was James, but I think he did the iteration after this, I think. John, maybe you can correct me. But yeah, middle school, this was it. I think my dad owned this first, and then I ended up getting my own because he had one. And I really feel like it was basically anybody that was into like swimming, riding bikes, like all that stuff back in like the early mid 90s, like the Timex Ironman was like the watch. And yeah, I think this is kind of like quintessential item if you were of that era. Now, 2 weeks ago, I found the battery was completely kaput in this thing, and Amazon was late delivering my battery, sadly. So I ended up cracking it open and adding the battery, only to find out that I now cannot set the time. So it is Monday, January 1st at 12 o'clock, probably forever, until this battery dies at least. So clearly no servicing. This thing was marketed as a triathlon watch. Obviously the Ironman is the triathlon. I have never done an Ironman, don't intend to. I've never done a triathlon, don't intend to. I hate swimming, even though I swam as a kid, but surfing is as close to swimming as I pretty much do nowadays, unless I've got a pool at a hotel that I'm like taking some laps in. But this thing will not be worn, but it's in insanely good condition, which, if my memory serves me correct, mine went out the window years ago. And this one may have been rebought by my dad. I cannot remember. It's far too old for me to remember. And this is pre-Facebook, so I can't even rely on Facebook memories for that, if you saw my post today about Facebook memories. But anyway, this watch like went everywhere with me. Not this particular one, I think, because again, I think this was a repurchase later. But Justin, you had it in middle school. Yeah, that's what I was saying, man. Like everybody had this thing in middle school, at least if you were, hey Kelly, if you're around the age of 40, give or take, 7 to 10 years, I think like most people had one of these, which was just super fun back then. If you were an active person, for sure the Ironman was haute couture in 92. Yeah, 100%. Kelly, I don't know if you ever had one of these. I know you're kind of haute horology, but did you ever have an Ironman? I would love to know whether or not you had an Ironman. But these things, yeah, I feel like everybody had one. Anyway, middle school days, playground, shooting hoops, touch football, flag football. Like this thing was kind of indestructible in my eyes. And I don't know how I feel about that now, but like I would use the chronograph function, these two little start stop buttons. Sorry, the camera's not really focusing on it, but either way, you've got start stop on the left and then the lap reset. I was never a runner or anything, so I never like time laps or anything, but this thing was killer. And actually the Indiglow on this still works. I don't know if you could tell or not. You can kind of tell. Yeah, it lights up. So, Kelly, you were a Swatch person. Yeah, well, my Swatch, I can't find my Swatch. My Swatch was like my elementary school watch. And I just remember it had one of those pink plastic like case guards. And for the life of me, I have searched eBay for one of them. It was kind of skeletonized, if I recall, and had some like awesome late 80s, like, I don't know, abstract art along the strap. And yeah, I think I went from Swatch over to Timex, and then that led to basically Nixon. I think after this, like, I wore this for years, and then I started wearing, I think it was Nixon in high school, kind of like the Rotolog I showed you last week. But yeah, so anyway, this was, I don't know, if you were around in the 90s, like, this is the thing. And I loved how like articulated this is, like, even just going back, like something I never would have thought about in middle school is like the actual design of these things. But I think like now just looking at it, it's tapered, you know, like the design is actually tapered, which is great. I know Adrian from Bark and Jack, he and I are on the same page with how, whether or not bracelets taper. So it's kind of funny to look at something this old and be like, oh, that strap actually tapers. All these little idiosyncrasies and details that we think about now, but super fun. 100 meters water resistant, I think, was this guy. Where does this? Yeah, right there at the top. So 100 meters for like a digital watch, like that was just mind blowing too back then, to know that like I could take this computer underwater and pretty deep for that matter. Anything like deeper than a pool, I probably wouldn't be doing that anyway. So especially in middle school. Yeah, the Indiglow function was amazing. Horographer, Ironman lived on my wrist as a kid. Indiglow was the coolest tech in my life. Blew my mind. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, totally. I mean, it was, you know, I guess it's backlit, obviously, as opposed to like, prior to Indiglow, it was just like those little tiny incandescent bulbs, right? They were just like on the side and kind of half-ass lit up your watch. But it was, this thing's awesome. I love it. Does anybody remember how much these things cost back then? I would definitely kill for my original 1985 Swatch. It went the way of the dodo. Yeah, totally. Yeah, Victorinox too, John. Good shout, because with that, my high school graduation gift, which I will get to, was a Victorinox. Yeah, the squint factor, 100%. These were $30. These were $30. I had that completely escaped me. I had no idea these things were $30. Good Lord. Wow, the ceiling at which my spending and kind of price tolerance is these days compared to $30. Like, that's just insane. Wow. Well, anybody have any questions on this? I mean, it seems like we all here wore this watch, so I doubt anybody has any questions. But so this might be a very short episode. But Del, hey, how are you? It's, what is it? 7 p.m. your time. You're probably just wrapping up dinner. Timex Indiglow. We're talking about Indiglow Ironmans here today, Del. Yeah, my middle school watch. My dad had it. I had one. Funny, I don't think my brother was ever really into watches. I have an older brother, and I can't think if he ever even wore a watch, which is kind of funny how he never did, but I always did. The pre-Indiglow version, I didn't know they made one of these prior to Indiglow. That's kind of interesting. That's fun. Pop the case back off. Get a toothpick to realign the time set lever. You can do it, no factor. Okay, I'll check that out for sure. I mean, I replaced the battery, so I'll take my little screwdriver and a toothpick and maybe tool around back there. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got really for this week. I'm doing these every other week, by the way, on the same week I release my podcasts, just to kind of keep these posts congruent and sort of consistent. And oh, by the way, this hat, I love the Cycle Squad hat. My wife does not. So I typically wear it when she's not around. I definitely think it looks good on a lot of our customers. My wife doesn't like it on me, but guess what? She's not here, so it's all good. Anyway, that's just a brief aside. Speaking of watches, in the next like week and a half to 2 weeks, please be keeping tabs on what I'm releasing. I've got a watch related item dropping in about a week and a half to 2 weeks, something like that. It's been a long time coming, so I'm excited to finally release that. I will probably release somewhat of a teaser photo here in the next week or so. John, yeah, I know you're excited. These videos are great. Keep it up. Such a fun, nostalgic throwback. Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, it is fun. And that's the whole reason I wanted to do these, is because it's such a serious kind of hoopla surrounding the watch community. And not only did I want to get some FaceTime sort of with you guys, I also just wanted to do these because I have all these things. I never talk about them. Those who are interested in this stuff are all friends of mine through Instagram, 99%. Like, none of my local friends here in San Diego are as into watches as I am, which is, I don't know, whatever. Take it for what it's worth. But that's part of the reason why I started doing these videos. So I really appreciate the feedback. Those of you who find this video on YouTube know that these are every other Wednesday. Yes, I upload these terrible quality videos to YouTube. Maybe that'll change in the future, but who knows? But anyway, yeah. So the Ironman middle school, it's got a battery in it. It's just not accurate. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Stay tuned for a product drop that's watch related in the next 2 weeks. New website coming up pretty soon, hopefully in the next 2 months. Just waiting on some product photography type stuff. New t-shirts, the signature collection will be dropping hopefully within the next month. So yeah, a lot of moving pieces right now, up into including these bad boys. Thanks so much, Justin. Really appreciate you, man. Okay, guys. Well, listen, have a great rest of the day. Drop me any DMs, comments, questions. I love talking about this stuff just because it also it's a total escape for me, as it is, I'm sure, for you. A gold headset cap. Good question. I might be able to make that happen. I think that could be something that could be done. Let me research that. And do I have your email, Justin, also? I'll add you to the I have a Cycle Squad specific email list. And if I don't already have your list, or your email rather, excuse me, DM me your email so I can put you on the list. And because there's some new Cycle Squad news probably going to be coming out within the next week and a half as well. But gold, okay. I'm not a fan of gold, so but if people like that and dig it, I have no qualms with producing it. It's all good fun, and just like these watches, like the Cycle Squad is like this tongue-in-cheek, kind of version of Standard H where color is far more prevalent, and will be going forward. But thanks for tuning in, guys. Drop me a DM. Let me know what's up. And yeah, I'll catch you in another 2 weeks.